already echoing through the hotel ballroom when I arrived, heels clicking against the marble floor. My chest tightened as I handed my name to the check-in desk. The hostess scanned the list, frowned, and shook her head. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Your name isn't here." Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us, what would you do in this situation? Be honest, tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. For a split second, my stomach dropped so hard I thought I'd be sick. How could my name not be there? I had been the one who designed every inch of this celebration. Weeks spent perfecting the floral arrangements, hand-picking the linens, arguing with the caterer over the menu, and even booking the same jazz quartet my parents danced to on their wedding night. This wasn't just a party. It was a gift for my mom and dad's 35th anniversary, something I had poured my heart into. I forced a smile. Check again. It should be under Elena Morris. She scanned once more, shook her head with the same practiced politeness. Not listed. People behind me shifted impatiently. My own sister Madison breezed past, throwing me a glance that made her smirk curl. "Guess they forgot you," she whispered, her sequined dress glittering under the lights as if she owned the room. Forgot me? No, this wasn't a mistake. This was intentional. I stepped back, clutching my clutch so tight my knuckles went white. Humiliation burned in my cheeks as I watched Madison's friends greet her at the entrance. The red carpet rolling out for her like she was the daughter who had planned everything. My husband, Ryan, placed a steadying hand on my back. "Elena, breathe," he murmured. His tone was calm, but I could see the storm in his eyes. He knew the truth. He had seen me stay up until 3 a.m. night after night, reworking floor plans, testing centerpieces, and rewriting speeches. "Ryan, they erased me," I whispered. "It's like I never existed in this family." Inside the ballroom, laughter erupted. I could already picture my mom and dad walking in, seeing Madison at the front, accepting the applause for everything I had done. The thought made my throat close. Ryan leaned closer, his voice low but fierce. "You let them take the stage. Tonight isn't over." My eyes stung, but I nodded. If my own family wanted to erase me, fine. But erasing the truth? That would never stand. We walked in together, his arm around me like armor. The ballroom was stunning, exactly as I had envisioned. The roses, the candles, the photos of my parents framed along the walls. Every detail screamed my name, yet no one mentioned it. Instead, Madison clinked her glass, smiling like a queen. "Let's raise a toast to Mom and Dad," she announced. "Tonight is about love, family, and everything we've built together." My mom's face glowed as she squeezed Madison's hand. My dad nodded proudly. My heart twisted. They had no idea. They thought Madison had done it all. Ryan whispered, "Smile. Just wait." I lifted my champagne, my lips curved upward, but inside, I was shaking. Because he was right, this night wasn't over. And when the moment came, when Ryan finally stood up, the truth would crack through this polished facade like glass shattering across the floor. The game had only begun. The ballroom lights dimmed as the first notes of the jazz quartet floated through the air. Couples clapped politely, glasses clinked, and servers moved like shadows with trays of champagne. To anyone else, it was a flawless celebration. To me, it was a stage where my existence had been deliberately erased. I sat beside Ryan at the back of the hall, smiling tightly while my family basked in the glow. Madison stood at the head table, a glass of wine in hand, soaking up the attention like sunlight. Every guest who approached congratulated her. "You did an amazing job," one woman gushed, shaking Madison's hand. "The details are perfect. This is the kind of event magazines would cover." Madison laughed softly, brushing her hair back like she was embarrassed by the praise. "Oh, it was nothing. Just wanted to give Mom and Dad something special." I nearly choked on my drink. Nothing? She hadn't spent a single late night on floor plans, hadn't dealt with caterers threatening to quit, hadn't saved receipts, contracts, or sent endless emails. Nothing was mine, and yet here she was, crowned the perfect daughter. Ryan leaned closer, whispering, "They can't hide what's written down." I frowned. "What do you mean?" His hand brushed mine under the table, firm and steady. "Trust me," the dinner began. Plates of salmon and roasted vegetables glistened under the chandeliers. Guests laughed, toasted, and complimented Madison at every turn. My parents beamed, proud of her like she had carried the entire weight of the evening. I swallowed hard, the bitterness heavy. Memories of all the nights I worked on this party crashed over me. Madison had been nowhere, probably at bars or posting pictures online, while I cut fabric swatches, bargained over delivery delays, and chased perfection because I wanted my mom to feel cherished. Now, I was invisible. Halfway through dessert, Madison rose again, tapping her glass with a spoon. The chatter hushed instantly. "I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight," she said, her voice dripping with pride. This was a labor of love, but seeing my parents smile makes every second worth it. "Let's give them the round of applause they deserve." The room erupted in cheers. My mother dabbed her eyes. My father stood to hug Madison, and all I could do was sit there clapping politely, as if I hadn't been erased from my own family's story. Ryan's jaw tightened. I could feel it through the grip of his hand on mine. Then, without warning, he stood. The sound of his chair scraping against the marble cut through the noise. Guests turned. Madison froze mid-smile, her glass still raised. "Excuse me," Ryan said, his voice deep and calm, but commanding enough to silence the room. "I think there's something everyone here should know." Dozens of eyes turned to us. My heart pounded. "Ryan," I whispered urgently, tugging his sleeve. "Please don't," but his eyes told me he wasn't asking. He was done watching me suffer. He held up a folder in his hand, its crisp edges glinting under the lights. Every single contract for tonight's celebration, the venue, the band, the caterers, the florist, was signed by one person. "And it wasn't Madison." Gasps rippled through the guests. Ryan flipped the folder open and raised the first page, the venue contract, the name Elena Morris bold at the bottom. Every tablecloth, every flower, every glass of champagne. This entire night exists because of my wife. Elena, not Madison. The silence was suffocating. Guests stared, mouths open, forks suspended in midair. Madison's face drained of color. "That's not, he's twisting things." Ryan cut her off, his voice sharp now. "Twisting things? Or showing the truth you tried to bury?" She stayed up night after night while you posted selfies. She negotiated every contract while you lounged around. She gave up weekends so your parents could have this moment. And you erased her name like she never existed. My breath caught. Tears blurred my vision. Not from weakness, but from the sheer shock of hearing him fight for me so fiercely. My mother's face crumpled in confusion. "Elena, is this true?" I swallowed, my voice barely a whisper but steady. "Yes, but it doesn't matter now." Ryan slammed the folder shut. "It matters. Because tonight you're celebrating a lie. And the only reason you're standing in this ballroom is because of Elena." The crowd erupted, some in whispers, some in stunned silence. Guests looked at Madison, her mask cracking, her hands trembling. For the first time all night, the spotlight she loved so much burned her instead of flattering her. And me? I sat there, my heart pounding with a mix of humiliation, vindication, and something darker. The realization that the game wasn't over. Because if my family thought they could erase me once, they'd try again. And I wasn't about to let that happen. This wasn't the end. It was only the start of my reckoning. The room was frozen. All I could hear was the faint hum of the band that had gone awkwardly silent mid-song. Crystal glasses glimmered in half-raised hands, and dozens of eyes darted between me, Ryan, and Madison. Madison laughed nervously, the sound brittle. "Come on, Ryan. You're making this more dramatic than it needs to be." Ryan's glare didn't waver. "Dramatic? You've lied to everyone here. You let your parents believe you planned this. Let strangers clap for you, while the woman who actually did the work was erased." My father, Richard, pushed back his chair and stood, his voice heavy with authority. Madison, is what he's saying true? My sister's jaw clenched, her perfect smile cracking. Dad, he's twisting things. I helped. You didn't, I said softly. But my voice carried across the hushed ballroom. All eyes shifted to me. My palms trembled under the tablecloth, but Ryan's hand covered mine, grounding me. You never showed up to the meetings, I continued, staring straight at Madison. You didn't argue with the florist when they wanted to substitute plastic flowers. You didn't chase down the permits or negotiate the budget when the venue nearly doubled the price. You weren't there when I stayed up until sunrise figuring out the seating chart so everyone felt included. Gasps stirred among the crowd. I saw a couple of my aunts whisper to each other, eyebrows raised. Madison's face burned red. So what? You're always desperate to be the hero. Maybe I didn't care about the boring stuff, but I'm the one standing here, smiling, making sure Mom and Dad have a great night. You'd never have the presents for it. The words sliced deeper than I expected. She had stolen the work, and now she was stabbing at the one wound that had always haunted me. The way my family treated me like background noise while Madison basked in the spotlight. My mother, Linda finally spoke, her voice shaky. Madison, you should have told us. Elena deserved recognition. But Madison shook her head stubbornly. Mom, people like Elena belong in the shadows. She's better at details, not moments. Tonight needed me. Ryan slammed the folder onto the table, the sharp crack echoing. No, tonight needed truth. And truth is standing right beside me, the tension snapped. Conversations broke out across the tables, guests murmuring about what they had just witnessed. Some stared at me with new respect, others at Madison with open disappointment. I wanted to disappear, but Ryan's grip on my hand wouldn't let me. He leaned close, his whisper meant only for me. Don't shrink now. This is your moment. For the first time all night I stood. My knees shook, but my voice came steady. If you think I wanted applause, you're wrong. I planned this for Mom and Dad because I love them. But what hurts is that I was erased. My name deleted as if I didn't matter. And Madison, you let it happen. You wanted me invisible. The words hung heavy in the air. Madison opened her mouth to snap back, but our father raised his hand. His face was stern, eyes narrowed. Enough. The room stilled again. Madison, I am ashamed, Richard said slowly, his voice like gravel. Your sister gave us this gift and you tried to take it. Madison's lower lip trembled. Dad? But Linda stood now too, her hand gripping Richard's arm. Tears shimmered in her eyes as she looked at me. Elena, I had no idea. If I'd known, I would have shouted your name from the rooftops. A lump rose in my throat. I wanted to believe her, but a lifetime of being overshadowed by Madison made me hesitate. Ryan, sensing my silence, stepped forward. This isn't just about tonight. This is about years of letting one daughter be treated like she doesn't count while the other basks in everything. Tonight is proof of what Elena has always been capable of, and maybe it's time you all stopped underestimating her. The ballroom buzzed again. People nodded. Some even clapped softly. My heart pounded in my chest, not from humiliation this time, but from the shocking weight of being seen. Madison's composure cracked fully. Her voice rose, shrill and defensive. So what now? Everyone just forgets about me? I made this night sparkle. Without me standing here, it would have been boring. No, Ryan said firmly, staring her down. Without Elena, there would have been no night at all. Madison's eyes darted around the room, desperate for someone, anyone, to back her up. But faces turned away. Her so-called friends wouldn't meet her gaze. I exhaled slowly. For the first time in years, the power balance in my family had shifted, and as I looked at Ryan, his hand warm in mine, I knew this wasn't just about Madison's lie anymore. It was about rewriting how my family saw me. The night wasn't over. The truth had been spoken, but the storm it unleashed was only beginning. The air inside the ballroom felt heavy, like the walls themselves were listening. My family's perfect anniversary party had unraveled, and all eyes were on Madison. Her painted smile was gone, replaced by the panicked look of someone watching their throne crumble. She slammed her glass down, wine splashing across the white linen. "Fine," she snapped, her voice cracking. Maybe Elena signed papers, but she wouldn't know how to host a celebration if her life depended on it. "I'm the reason people are having fun tonight. Me." A wave of gasps spread across the room. Some guests looked shocked, others disgusted. My father's expression hardened further, and my mother looked as though she'd just been slapped. I felt Ryan squeeze my hand again, grounding me. He didn't need to say a word. I could feel the message in his touch. Don't let her drag you down. Show them who you really are. I rose slowly, steadying my breath. The clinking of forks and whispers faded as I walked toward the stage where Madison still stood. She tried to hold her chin high, but I saw the fear flicker behind her eyes. "Madison," I said, my voice low but cutting through the silence, "you've always loved the spotlight. But tonight you don't get to decide my worth anymore." I turned to the crowd, my heart hammering. "You've all been enjoying yourselves tonight, laughing, dancing, celebrating love. That's what I wanted. I didn't need credit for myself. I wanted my parents to feel cherished, to relive the joy of their wedding day. And if anyone deserves to know the truth, it's them." My mother's lips trembled as she clutched my father's arm. Tears slid down her cheeks. "Elena, thank you. I don't know how we missed it. I don't know how we didn't see you." For the first time in years, her voice cracked with genuine emotion toward me. It nearly broke me, but Madison wasn't done. "Oh, please," she sneered, her voice shaking. "You're just milking sympathy. Everyone knows you're the quiet one. You don't belong in the spotlight. You never have." Before I could speak, Ryan stepped forward. He placed the folder of contracts on the table with a finality that echoed like a gavel. "This isn't about spotlight. It's about truth. Elena doesn't need the spotlight. She is the foundation. Without her, this night wouldn't exist." The weight of his words silenced the last of the murmurs. Even the band sat frozen, instruments resting on their laps. Madison's mask shattered. Her voice rose higher, desperate. "You're all fools if you think she's better than me. She'll always be the invisible sister. Enough!" Richard's voice thundered, silencing her completely. His face was red, his hands gripping the edge of the table as he stood. "I will not watch you destroy your sister out of jealousy. Tonight, Elena gave us something priceless. And you tried to take it from her." Madison's eyes widened. But he cut her off. "You've embarrassed yourself. More importantly, you've embarrassed this family." The words landed like a hammer. Madison's shoulders crumpled. For once, she had no defense. Linda rose beside him, her tears still falling, but her gaze was locked on me. "Elena, I owe you the biggest apology a mother can give. We failed you tonight. We've failed you many times before, but I see you now, and I will never forget again." Something inside me cracked open. The years of being overlooked, overshadowed, erased, it all hit me at once. My chest ached, not from pain anymore, but from release. I nodded slowly, my voice trembling but steady enough for everyone to hear. "I didn't do this for recognition. I did it because I love you both. But hearing those words from you, Mom, it means more than you'll ever know." The crowd erupted in applause. Not polite claps this time, genuine, heartfelt. Guests stood, clapping, some even whistling. The energy shifted completely. Madison stood frozen in the spotlight she had once owned, now stripped bare in front of everyone. For the first time in her life, she wasn't adored. She was pitied. Ryan slipped his arm around me, whispering into my ear. "This is your victory. You didn't just survive tonight, you changed everything." I leaned into him, the applause still thundering around us. For the first time, I wasn't invisible. I was seen. My father raised his glass, his voice ringing out over the cheers. "To Elena, the daughter who gave us this unforgettable night." The room roared with approval. Madison's glass sat untouched, her head bowed as the truth finally sank in. She had lost. And me? I smiled, not out of revenge, but because I had finally stepped into the light that had always been mine. This wasn't just an anniversary celebration anymore.